Supreme Court to decide the price of silver. This is frightening. The war against the administrative state has had an unintended consequence, the price of silver. In this video, I'm going to show how our well-intentioned advocacy to challenge and reform the massive administrative state has come back to bite us in a big way. Listen closely to this because the Supreme Court is about to change silver as we know it. This is from Reuters, and the headline reads, "A Supreme Court decision looms. A legal assault is weakening SEC's power." The article says that a legal assault on the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is chipping away at its powers to oversee Wall Street and is likely to intensify with two imminent Supreme Court rulings. A U.S. appeals court last week overturned a major SEC rule imposing stricter oversight of private funds in a fresh blow for the ambitious agenda to boost transparency and stamp out conflicts of interest on Wall Street. The ruling from the New Orleans-based Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals is another example of how business groups are using courts to overturn SEC rules. Our court system has been crowded and plugged up with all of these lawsuits. This is unprecedented. This is new. This is the war on the administrative state, and this is how it's happening. It's through suing in the courts. Let's keep going. This says, while the war on the administrative state aims to weaken federal agencies across the board, this agenda has made the SEC, which oversees around 40,000 entities, a top target. Again, this war on the state, it's crowding up the courts, and it's using the courts as a forum to determine decisions, really, that once were made by oversight agencies. And this is where it's hitting silver. Check this out, because this is where the Supreme Court is about to change how the price of silver is determined. This says, the Deputy Solicitor General Brian Fletcher repeatedly replied that Congress has, for some 80 years, delegated these core executive enforcement powers to agencies that are charged with applying the law and imposing consequences for violations. If the SEC's administrative enforcement powers are unconstitutional, he said, so too might be similar enforcement powers at some 34 federal agencies. And then he lists the Food and Drug Administration, National Transportation Safety Board, Social Security. Now, silver is regulated by the CFTC, and when this war on the administrative state goes after the CFTC, we are going to see silver fly off the rails. This is absolutely new ground, especially for the price of silver. As listed, these government agencies like the Food and Drug Administration, National Transportation Safety Board, Social Security, we just take these for granted. And likewise, we take the CFTC for granted. But as silver stackers, this is the oversight organization. This is a government agency that follows the precious metals market and makes sure that everything is running smoothly. Look, this is from Investopedia, and this says, what is the Commodity Futures Trading Commission? The CFTC is an independent federal agency that regulates the derivatives markets, including futures contracts, options, swaps. Its goals include the promotion of competitive and efficient markets and the protection of investors against manipulation. Does this sound familiar? Because we talk about all of this in our silver stacking community. We're constantly talking about manipulation of silver price. This CFTC, this is the overriding agency. This is an agency that we need to be looking into these matters. We can't be filling up the courts trying to figure out every bit of minutia regarding the market for precious metals. Let's keep going. This says, what does the CFTC regulate? The CFTC regulates the U.S. derivatives markets. This includes the commodity futures, that's gold and silver, options and swaps markets, as well as over-the-counter markets in order to sufficiently oversee these markets. That this is a massive umbrella organization. No one would ever think that the Supreme Court would be looking at the SEC and deciding what happens there. But on this list of agencies that are under attack in this war against the administrative state comes us, our silver stacking community. And when the CFTC is taken away and decisions are made by the Supreme Court, that's when we're really going to see our price of silver be placed in the hands of people that have no idea what's going on with it. If you're enjoying this video, please hit like and please hit subscribe. It really helps to get this information out there.